I can represent a linear function as a verbal situation, equation, table, and graph. So first, we're going to look at the verbal situation. It says, in the morning, the temperature was -7. So that's where we started, so we know that's our y-intercept. Each hour, the temperature rose 3 degrees. So that means what happens each hour, 3 is your slope. So your equation is y equals 3x minus 7. Once you have an equation, you should type that in Desmos and use your calculator to help you find the y values. So I have typed in y equals 3x minus 7. And I'm going to start with x equals 0. And it tells me that gives me a y value of -7. Now let's change that x value to a 1. That gives me a y value of -4. And we're going to keep going down to number 2. We're going down all the x values, and that gave me a y value of -1. And the next x value in the table is a 3, and that gave me a y value of 2. And then the last number, the last x in the table is 4, and that gives me a y value of 5. So that's how you would figure out to go from words to an equation, and then use that equation to go to a table. Once you have that table, then we can graph the points on a graph. So 0, -7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0, -7 would be my y-intercept. Then we have 1, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's my next point. And then a 2, -1. Then a 3, 1, 2, 3, and a 2. And a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you have a linear function, your graph needs to be a line. If it's not a line, you have graphed something incorrectly. Okay. Aslan wants to start saving for college. Her parents start a savings account for her and put in an initial deposit of $325. So let's stop there. That's where this account is starting, at $325. So let's look at all our graphs. A starts at $325. B starts at $325. C does not, so we can go ahead and mark that out. And D starts at $325. Okay? Now it says Aslan adds $50 each month. So that means it should go up $50 every month. So if we look at B, that's staying flat. That would mean that they started with $325 and never added another penny. So we're going to mark that one out. Then if you look at D, that means you started at $325, but then you're steadily going down. Well, if she's adding $50 a month, that's not the case either. So A is definitely your answer, and your slope is 50/1, which could be the table of values that was used to graph the function shown. Well, to find that table, the first thing I'll find is my y-intercept, which is 0, 3. So I'm going to look through and see if any of these have a 0 and a 3 in them. Turns out 2 of them do. So the 0, -3 and the other 0, -3 are not going to be correct points. So now I'm going to go on and try the next one. -1, -4 is way down here. That's not going to work either, so that means B's out. So C must be my answer, but let's make sure. 1, 4, 2, -5. I think that's a typo. It should have been a +5. That's okay. Or it is. And then a -1, 2. So C is definitely our answer.